When you think of law and African American history in Charleston, you think of Judge Richard E. Fields. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with him one-on-one. Judge Fields.
Yes, sir.
It is so good to see you.
Uh-huh.
And it's a blessing for me to do this. Thank you so much.
All right.
I kind of eavesdropped on a phone call that you just had with someone from New York.
Yeah.
You kind of said that you are somewhat retired.
Yeah.
What is it like to be Judge Richard Fields these days?
What it's like?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I don't know. I get up in the morning, I get up a little bit later than I used to.
Okay.
And I walk a little bit slower than I used to. But I still do a little bit of everything that I've always done. Not as much,
Okay.
Not as fast,
Right.
not as often, but I still do the same things I've always done.
And matter of fact, let's create the same because we're sitting right here in your office, which is right next to your house.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And I'm gonna take it back because we were just talking off camera about your life.
Yeah.
From what I understand, you basically came to know yourself when you were living on Blake Street.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And I'm wondering, when was that moment for you?
I don't know. The only memory that I have was, and I guess it followed me all through these years, because I remember a little girl that lived next door to me named Althea.
Right.
Said, I'm trying to think of about how old I was. And that was somewhere between 2 or 3 years old, I think, when I first came to know myself as far back as I can go. Yeah, I can't remember anything earlier than that.
And I know on camera, and I know you don't know too much, but from what I understand, your mother actually had a 5th grade education, and your father didn't know how to read.
You can read all right.
I'm wondering, what took you to have the strength to go out and become the person that you are today?
I don't know. Except that my father, throughout my growing years, had one job. My mother was a homemaker and was home when I left in the morning to go to school.
Yes.
And was home when I got home from school.
Right.
And if I did something, misbehave a little bit, she'd always say, I'm gonna tell your daddy. And if she told my daddy, when he got home, I got a lot of whippings growing up. And I often compared my growing up with my brother, who was about 5 years younger than I am, and I don't recall my brother getting many whippings.
Wow.
And I don't think I was that mischievous or that bad, but my father was determined, I guess, that I was going to behave myself. I remember when I was growing up, so many black boys drowned during the summer.
Wow.
And my daddy was deathly afraid of me going swimming. I never learned to swim.
Me neither.
And because to swim you had to go in the creek or in the river.
Right.
And I lived in Ackerman Court, an alley. And I can remember on one occasion I was up at the front of the alley and I was, how I wanted to swim, I was just practicing my stroke. And my daddy saw me, called me up and gave me a whipping. Because he had to make sure that I wasn't going in swimming.
Right.
And he was that kind of a daddy.
Wow. Well, let's talk about you from, I know everyone knows that you went to Avery Institute.
Yeah.
You went to, West Virginia State College.
Which is now West Virginia State University.
And then Howard Law School.
Yeah.
But the biggest moment in your life was really 1949. That is when you became really the first black legislator, judge. That is.
No, lawyer.
Lawyer, excuse me, lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, you said that was when you learned how to speak. Talk to me more about that.
No, that's not when I learned how to speak. I learned how to speak. I told you the story about this elderly gentleman who worked as a truck driver and who had these black boys and girls from the neighborhood in this club and taught us all, make us learn how to speak and would take us on Sunday. That's when I learned how to speak.
Wow.
And I think it carried over from that into the church on various occasions and whatnot. And I think that's when I learned to speak. Speaking was a part of growing up in the black neighborhoods at that time. We used to have programs, Sunday programs and so forth and so on. And I don't know if when you were at West Virginia State, because this was in John W. Davis's time, you had to go to chapel on Sunday evening, and we would have public forums. President Davis, that fella up there, would have these various subjects. And you got the whole school in the auditorium, and you had an opportunity to raise these questions, and you could stand up and talk publicly on Sunday evenings in chapel.
Wow.
And we did y'all have that?
Yeah, they used to do a little bit,
Yeah, when we went there. Every Sunday afternoon, open forum.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to 1969. Obviously, you became a municipal judge.
Uh-huh.
If you were to look back at 1969 to 1992, when you were a municipal judge, and then, of course, the family court judge, and eventually a circuit court judge, what would stick out in your mind right now?
Well, I always go back to the time when Mayor Gilliard called me to his office and said he was thinking about appointing me associate municipal judge. And if he did so, would I accept? And at that time, it was indicated to me that there was not a black judge in the Southeast at that time, and certainly that was a tremendous offer, but I didn't accept it right then. I told him I appreciated his offer, but let me think about it a while. Let me talk to my wife about it and so forth. I gave him that excuse. That wasn't the truth, but that's what I told him. I didn't want to talk to my wife about it. I wanted to talk to my friends who knew me in the law business, my white friends.
Sure.
And my really concern is because I left his office at City Hall. And I went straight across the street to one of my mentors, Gedney Howe. And I told him what the mayor had said to me and what offered me and so forth and so on. And my question to him was, do you think I could do that? I never had any idea of being a judge in South Carolina. Matter of fact, most of my classmates thought I was crazy as hell.
Wow.
For even coming back to Charleston to practice law in 1949.
Because you were in D.C. as a waiter, you know.
Yeah, as a waiter, yeah. I didn't think I was crazy. I had friends in law school
Right.
with from Detroit, Michigan. I could have gone
Right.
to Cleveland, Ohio,
Oh, yeah.
New York,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Falls, California.
Wow.
Wanted me to go, come on, go with me.
Wow.
I said, no, I'm going home. I was going no place, I'm going home.
What does home mean for you?
I love Charleston.
Yeah.
I love Charleston. I had a great time growing up in Charleston, but to go back to, and I'll get
Sure.
to that. When it was offered to me, you see, I had a good practice.
Okay.
I was doing pretty good as a lawyer,
Yeah.
and being a municipal judge wasn't paying that much money. It was a, it was a distinguished honor and all.
Right.
But my concern was, could I do that?
Mm.
Because I had no preconceived ideas of being a judge.
Sure.
That wasn't on my radar.
Mm.
Because I had already convinced myself or felt, and I'm comfortable with that I wasn't going to be a judge. I didn't need to be a judge. I was pretty successful otherwise.
Yes,
you know,
indeed.
I had built my own office in
Spring Street.
Spring Street, and when I built my office on Spring Street, everybody came to look at it.
Right.
And raised eyebrows. I had the second best looking office in town.
Wow.
So I wasn't worried about being a judge. But I wanted to find out whether the bar thought I could do that.
Mm.
And he said, we talked for a while. He said, yeah, you can do it. And I thanked him and talked about it. And I went home and talked to my wife, but I still wasn't satisfied.
Mm.
I went and saw my friend Morris Rosen, and I told him what happened. Morris was corporation counsel. He was the city attorney. Morris was a good friend of mine. Morris was a good lawyer. I told him what the mayor said. I said, you think I could do that?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, you can do that. I'm not lucky. And then I saw another individual, Mr. Billy Grimble, because his father was a judge. His father was the circuit judge. He was one of my early mentors too. And he and I were friends. Then I sought him out. And I told him what had happened. He wasn't as close to me as the other two, but we were close.
Right.
And I valued his opinion.
Okay.
And he said, yeah. He told me the story. I'll never forget. Before he answered me, he said, you know, Miss Grimble and I were in London, England. We went on vacation the other day. He said, Miss Grimble wanted to visit all the historic sites and all like that, and I put her on the bus and sent her away. I didn't want to go doing all of that. I wanted to go down to the court and talk to the lawyers. I wanted to go around the courthouse.
Right.
And that's where he went.
Wow.
He said, and I asked the lawyers, I said, why is it that in the English judiciary, you never hear of any bad things that happen, any things that would embarrass the judiciary. See, you never hear about the judiciary being anything but a real distinguished group of men. And he says, well, Mr. Grimble, he says, when we look for a judge, we don't necessarily look for the smartest fella in the world. It's all right if he's pretty smart.
Sure.
But that's not our main criteria. Our main objective is to find a good, kind, and decent man. Now, if he knows a little law and he's a pretty good lawyer and he knows that that's some, you know,
Right.
apple, that's some asset,
Right.
you know. But that's not the main criteria. And he said, you will do all right.
And since that time you did.
And and that's what helped me. And I never have thought of what I would have done.
And from what I understand, instead you and a couple other people created a pack.
Yeah, we had a pack. Yeah, we Herbert Fielding.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I and Lonnie Hamilton.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
We had the Charleston County Political Action Committee.
Right.
Very strong. But it was one party.
Okay.
We were the balance of power.
Okay.
Politics, elective politics, was structured by a ticket.
Right.
The mayor would have his ticket. This one would have a ticket.
Right.
This one would have a ticket. Everybody would want this group to get on their ticket. Our ticket was the most sought for ticket because we had the balance of power. We had organized pack
Right.
to such a way that every politician in Charleston County, except one, came to our office and sat down and went through a discussion with us. Everyone. Damn fella from North Charleston, mayor, first mayor up there. First mayor in North Charleston.
I forgot his name myself.
Yeah. He wouldn't come.
Okay.
So hell, I ain't going to Judge Field's office to be interviewed. But every politician,
John Burns.
John, his name John.
Bourne.
John Bourne.
That's right. That's
John
right.
Bourne.
Yes.
He's the only that one didn't come. He
Okay.
wouldn't come. But everybody came. Everybody.
Okay.
He wanted to get on Pack's ticket. We had a ticket.
Okay.
And our ticket prevailed.
Wow.
Because we had the balance of power. When they got single member district,
Right.
I was against single member district. Herbert Fielding and all of my political friends, they were against it. They were against it because they wanted to be elected officials. We got more elected officials, but we got less power. Because when you got single member districts,
Right.
then that's what created the Republican Party
Wow. Well,
in South Carolina.
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I know you have to get ready for dinner,
yeah.
but quickly, we know that you have served as a judge in many different capacities.
Yeah.
You are a husband, you are a father, you are a community activist, you're an icon. As we sit here right now, how would you describe Judge Richard E. Fields, pardon me?
My mother told me, that fourth, fifth grade student,
Okay.
when I came home to practice law in 1949, we were sitting on the porch Sunday afternoon. I was going to open my office the next day.
On Spring Street.
No. Cumming Street.
Okay.
Spring Street was when I built my office.
Okay.
When I practiced, and Dr. W.W. Jones had a building 186 Cummings Street, right near Morris.
Right.
Upstairs, that's where my office was. I was sitting in the swing. Mama was sitting in the chair right there. She turned around and looked at me. She said, "So you a lawyer?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." "Well, that's something." She said, "Well, I wish I could do something to help." "No," she said, "you're going to open your office tomorrow?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Well, I wish I could do something to help you. But I don't know nothing about lawyering." Rock on the chair a little bit. But she said, "Maybe I could help you a little bit." I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Now, son, try to get along with folks."
That's what you did.
She said, "A lot of people want to get along, but not too many of them want to do much of the getting."
That's powerful.
She said, "You get along with folks. You get along with folks even if you got to do most of the getting."
There you go. That is so awesome. Well, the Honorable.
That was my sending off.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I tried to do in this, because I'm in an entirely white world. And as I got into this world, I found white officers do sometime for me what they wouldn't do for a white lawyer.
You had the favor of God, man.
Because yes sir, no sir. I got along with him.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
You see, you see that,
Right,
that plaque there?
right, I do.
That's all of the sergeants of the Charleston City Police Department.
Wow.
When I went to family court judge, that's what they gave me. That's from the city
Wow.
sergeants of the police
Right,
department.
I see, yeah. With the gavel there. Wow.
When I had to sit up there and look them in the face and say, "Not guilty," with a black over here and him there. But when I said he was not guilty, he didn't feel bad, because he felt like that was the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Old man Tom Stoney. I heard, and this is true, I heard Tom Stoney make an argument to jury. He used the word nigger just like as easy as anything else. He was a good man, but he was a real conservative man. He grew up in the time when they were saying nigger. I had a Judge Martin, J. Robert Martin. J. Robert Martin. He was a circuit judge in Greenville. He later became a federal judge. Loved me to death. First time he was in Charleston, early on, and he presided here. Called me into his office. Say, "Boy," say, "I like you." Say, "I like the way you handle yourself. See, you get along with the bar." There's a black lawyer in Greenville at that time. I forgot his name. He don't get along with the bar. He don't make no money. He says, "You ain't gonna make no more money than the bar lets you make. See, you get along with the bar." Say, "Now, boy, my brother is a sheriff in Greenville. He says, if you want to go to Greenville, I'll take you to Greenville. I'll get you set up in Greenville. I'll get you started in Greenville. He said, boy, you'll get rich with your bullshit. He said, you'll get rich in Greenville. Them niggas are making plenty of money in Greenville.
Wow.
That's what he said to me.
Okay.
I said, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I said, and I appreciate that,
Yeah.
but my mother and father here, I wasn't married at that time.
Wow.
He said, them niggas are making plenty of money. Greenville. He said, I'll take you to Greenville, get you set up.
Mm.
You get rich in Greenville.
Wow.
But he didn't think nothing the same day.
Okay.
He's a judge.
Wow.
Now, if I'd have said, I remember boy Cleveland, Ira Cleveland. Ira Cleveland came here about 5 years or so after I did. And we were all in the courthouse talking, doing term of court recess. Sheriff, lawyer, and all, we sitting up talking.
Right.
A group of us standing up talking. Ira Cleveland came up, and one by one, everybody left.
Wow.
You see, I got inside,
Right.
and I got inside by what my mama told me.
Well, we'll continue this conversation at dinner, but Honorable Richard E. Fields, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. This was so great. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you.